Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Algorithm Speaks. It's been a wild week out there in the digital world.
Wild might be an understatement.
Okay, true. Maybe wild doesn't even begin to cover it.
Yeah.
It's more like we've been strapped to a runaway roller coaster with a news feed that just won't quit.
I think everyone's still trying to catch their breath from the last 4 years.
Oh, absolutely. And now it feels like we're right back in the thick of it again.
It's like the internet is collectively holding its breath,
Right?
just waiting to see what fresh hell awaits us with every news notification.
Seriously, it's like we're all trapped in a never-ending episode of Black Mirror.
Except the plot twists are getting more and more absurd.
By the day. So let's unpack some of these digital gems, shall we?
Let's do it.
First up, Trump's back in the White House.
Ah, yes, the return of the prodigal.
And it seems he's picked up right where he left off, stirring up chaos on the international stage.
His decision to reinstate tariffs on Canada has certainly ignited a firestorm of controversy.
Oh, absolutely. The comments are a mix of bewilderment and just pure frustration.
I imagine so.
One that really jumped out at me said, Trump must be exhausted from destroying America while being Putin's assistant bitch.
Well, that's a colorful way to put it.
Ouch, right.
But it does reflect a sentiment that's been echoing across various platforms this week.
Totally. A deep concern about the potential damage these tariffs could inflict on both the U.S. and Canadian economies.
Not to mention the political implications.
Exactly. One really good take I saw pointed out that this move seems less about economic strategy
And more about...
Trump playing revenge for his 2020 loss.
It does seem rather petty, doesn't it?
Seriously,
Yeah.
is this really how we're conducting foreign policy now?
It certainly raises questions about the motivations behind this decision.
And then there's this gem of a comment that I think perfectly captures the mood. 1 month in. Only 3 years, 11 months left. Everything is going fine.
The sarcasm is palpable.
You can practically taste it, right?
It definitely speaks to a sense of weary resignation that many are feeling.
Okay, so on a lighter note, amidst all this political turmoil, there are a few glimmers of hope emerging from the entertainment world.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Right, it's not all doom and gloom.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Sheen, for example, has decided to become not-for-profit actor.
That's fantastic. His decision to use his earnings for social causes has been met with widespread praise.
As it should be, one commenter put it perfectly. Further proof there is no reason for multimillionaires, just unnecessary greed.
It's a stark contrast to some of the other figures we're seeing in the news.
Like who?
Like Elon Musk, for instance.
Oh, speaking of Musk, his very public avoidance of Jon Stewart this week has generated quite a buzz online.
Yes, that whole situation is rather perplexing.
It's a train wreck for those who missed it. Jon Stewart called Musk out on his, let's just say, questionable business practices, and Musk basically ghosted him.
Some have interpreted Musk's silence as a calculated move to avoid further scrutiny.
Oh, totally. But the comments are divided. You've got the bad takes blaming Stewart for getting stiffed or claiming it's just Musk owning the libs. But then you've got the good takes that suggest he's simply terrified of public appearances and any kind of scrutiny.
It's an interesting case study in how these tech titans try to wield their power and manage their public image.
Speaking of power and image, can we talk about those Tesla sales figures?
Oh, yes. The numbers that seem to defy all logic.
One dealership in Canada claimed 1,200 sales in a single day.
1,200.
That's like selling a Tesla every minute. Something's fishy there.
It does seem statistically improbable. There's been some speculation online that links this sudden surge in sales to rumors about Russian oligarchs propping up Trump's businesses in the past.
Ooh, conspiracy theories.
Mm.
I love it. But seriously, it raises questions about the legitimacy of those sales figures and whether there's a deeper story lurking beneath the surface.
It's a reminder that in the digital age, information can be easily manipulated.
Truer words have never been spoken.
We must always approach everything with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Words to live by in this crazy mixed-up world. Right, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about America's role on the global stage, because the comments are buzzing with concern and, frankly, outrage over Trump's decision to withdraw support from Ukraine.
It's a move that has been met with widespread condemnation.
From both sides of the political spectrum. I mean, seriously, this is a country fighting for its very existence, and we're just turning our backs on them.
It's a difficult situation with no easy answers.
One particularly insightful comment I saw described it as a profound betrayal that endangers lives and tarnishes America's reputation.
And there's another comment that I found quite chilling that predicted the U.S. will inevitably blame Ukraine for any further Russian aggression.
It's enough to make you lose faith in humanity.
It's a sobering reminder of the challenges we face.
Okay, well, on that note, I think we need a break before we descend into total despair. When we come back, we'll explore some of the other bizarre and bewildering news stories that have captured the internet's attention this week.
Sounds like a plan.
Stay tuned. Okay, so we're back and, ready to plunge even deeper into this digital rabbit hole.
Deeper we go.
We left off talking about America's role in the world, and honestly, things aren't looking too rosy right now.
No, they certainly are not. The decision to withdraw support from Ukraine has really sparked a heated debate about America's commitment to democracy and its responsibility on the global stage.
One comment that really resonated with me said, "Is this really what America stands for now? What are the consequences of this shift in foreign policy?" It's a question we all need to be asking ourselves right now.
It is a pivotal moment, that's for sure, and the choices we make now, they're going to have a ripple effects for years to come.
And speaking of choices, we've got to talk about Elon Musk again. Those Tesla sale figures are still raising eyebrows.
Yeah, those numbers, they seem to defy all logic.
And the online speculation is reaching a fever pitch.
Well, the sheer volume of sales, particularly in Canada and the UK, it has fueled all sorts of conspiracy theories about potential manipulation and hidden agendas.
Right, one good take comment I saw wondered if there's a connection between this spike in sales and those rumors about Russian oligarchs propping up Trump's businesses in the past.
Are we seeing a repeat performance here?
It's a valid question,
Yeah.
and one that definitely warrants further investigation. The opaque nature of these transactions makes it difficult to discern the truth.
It does make you wonder.
And then let's not forget Musk's continued avoidance of Jon Stewart. The bad takes are still out in full force, blaming Stewart for getting stiffed,
Oh,
or claiming it's just Musk owning the libs, but then you have those good takes suggesting that he's avoiding accountability and scrutiny.
well, his aversion to public appearances, especially when faced with some challenging questions, is well documented.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to control the narrative by staying silent, but the internet is not having it.
People are demanding answers, and the pressure is definitely mounting.
Okay, before we get too deep into the Musk rabbit hole again, let's lighten the mood with some good news.
Ah, a welcome respite from the doom and gloom.
Remember Michael Sheen, our not-for-profit actor? Well, he's been making headlines again for his incredible work supporting various social causes.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
His commitment to using his platform and his resources for good is really inspiring.
It's genuinely heartwarming to see someone using their success to make a positive impact.
One commenter summed it up perfectly. Michael Sheen is the kind of celebrity we need more of. He's actually walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Okay, but now back to reality. We need to talk about Trump's actions on the domestic front.
Oh, boy.
The mass firings of federal employees, the defunding of crucial programs, the attacks on education.
It's concerning, to say the least.
It's like he's trying to dismantle the entire government from the inside out.
His actions are definitely raising concerns about the erosion of democratic norms and the potential for authoritarianism.
Yeah, and the comments are reflecting that anxiety. One that I saw said, it's like we're watching a slow-motion coup unfold and no one knows how to stop it.
It's a chilling thought, and one that shouldn't be taken lightly.
And then there's this meme that's been circulating showing Trump holding the Constitution
Okay.
with the caption, "Nothing to see here, just a wannabe dictator claiming the First Amendment is illegal."
Wow.
I mean, it's funny, but it also hits a little too close to home.
It speaks to a growing fear that the very foundations of American democracy are under threat.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, and it's been heavy stuff. But before we wrap up this segment, there's one more story we need to address. It's a bit lighter, but still deeply unsettling.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So it's the story about the Enola Gay photos that Trump wanted removed from military installations because he deemed them offensive.
Really?
It's like he's trying to erase history and pretend that certain events never happened.
The attempt to sanitize the past and control the narrative. It's a dangerous trend that we've seen play out again and again.
And the comments are highlighting that hypocrisy. One particularly biting remark suggested replacing the Enola Gay photos with images of the American air attacks during the Tulsa Race Massacre.
Wow, that's powerful.
It's a stark reminder of the selective outrage and historical revisionism that often permeates these discussions.
It's like certain historical events are deemed too sensitive to acknowledge, while others are simply swept under the rug.
Right. We can acknowledge the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Yeah.
but God forbid we talk about the atrocities committed against Black Americans on our own soil.
It's a clear double standard and one that needs to be called out.
Okay, I think that's enough reality for one day, We need to take a breather and regroup, and then we'll come back for the final leg of our digital journey. Welcome back to The Algorithm Speaks. We've explored the highs and lows, the heartwarming and the downright disturbing, all through the lens of this week's online chatter.
Quite a journey.
It has been, hasn't it? I feel like we need a serious digital detox after all of this.
I agree.
But before we unplug for good, there are a few more nuggets of wisdom, or at least amusement to unearth, from the comments section.
There's always something lurking in those comments, isn't there?
Speaking of entertaining, remember that story about Trump wanting to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America?
Oh, yes, a classic Trump move.
A bold move, some might say.
Others might say it's just another attempt to rewrite history and geography to fit a particular narrative.
The comments were a goldmine. One person joked that Trump probably just wants to rename it after himself, like the Trumpian Sea, or something equally egotistical.
It wouldn't surprise me.
And let's not forget the inevitable comparisons to other historical figures, the ones known for their grand ambitions and, shall we say, flexible relationship with reality.
Mm.
Right? Someone even made a meme with Trump's face superimposed on a map of the Gulf with the caption, "I alone can fix the hurricanes."
I saw that one. It was pretty funny.
It's scary how accurate it is, though.
It does highlight a certain pattern of behavior, doesn't it? The tendency to overestimate one's influence, to project an image of control, even in the face of, complex, unpredictable forces.
Yeah. And speaking of unpredictable forces, let's circle back to Elon Musk for a moment. That whole Tesla sales surge situation is still shrouded in mystery, and the internet is buzzing with speculation.
It really is. Some people are suggesting it's a brilliant marketing ploy, while others are whispering about shadowy figures and hidden agendas.
The bad takes are out in full force, of course, blaming it all on a liberal conspiracy to discredit Musk and Tesla. The usual, they're just jealous of his success argument.
Ah, yes, the classic defense mechanism.
But the good takes are digging deeper, questioning the source of these sudden sales, and wondering if there's a connection to, let's say, certain foreign entities with a vested interest in boosting Trump's allies.
It's a possibility worth considering.
Right. We've seen this playbook before, haven't we?
Many times, unfortunately.
It's like a bad rerun of the 2016 election, only this time it's electric cars instead of fake news.
And speaking of bad reruns, remember those MGA representatives who shouted down Biden during his first term? Well, it seems the tables have turned. Now a Republican congressman has been censured for the same behavior.
Oh, the irony.
Malicious, isn't it?
It really makes you think about the selective application of rules and decorum in our political system.
Suddenly it's a huge deal when it's their guy being disruptive. But when it was Biden on the receiving end, it was just free speech.
It's a troubling trend of double standards and hypocrisy that we see playing out over and over again.
It's exhausting, honestly.
It really is. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. It's been a wild ride through the digital landscape. But before we sign off, I want to leave you with a thought. We've talked about Trump's actions, Musk's antics, the state of American democracy. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all of it.
It can be a lot to process, especially when it feels like things are spiraling out of control.
But remember that comment we mentioned earlier. If the deep state exists, why aren't they doing anything to stop this? It's funny, sure, but it also makes you think we can't just rely on some shadowy force to fix things for us.
Absolutely. We, the people, have the power to shape our own destiny.
Exactly. So stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, don't give up hope. The future is ours to create, and even small actions can make a difference.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on The Algorithm Speaks, where we try to make sense of the digital chaos, one meme at a time. See you next week.
See you then.